Hey guys, I've played some MMOs before. This is not the first MMO I've played, so I'm not that new when it comes to MMOs. Let me give you some context. My first MMO was Ion. I mained an archer. No, it's actually called a ranger, not an archer. After that, I played some action MMO called C9, which I mained a ranger. And then I moved over to a game called Revelations Online. I mained a gunslinger. Was it called a gunslinger or a gunner? Well, it was a gun-based class. And then Black Desert Online, and I mained an archer. And then it has been a while since I've played MMOs after that, but I did try Lost Ark a couple months ago, and I mained a sharpshooter for a while, and then I swapped over to a Deadeye. So let's say a gunslinger as well. I'm now in Guild Wars 2. Yeah, I'm not maining ranger in Guild Wars 2. But let's talk about why. Let's talk about why. Guild Wars 2 is such a weird game because I've never had so much difficulty in finding a class to main in an MMO because I always know what I want. I always know my playstyle, and when I play the class in that particular game for that playstyle, I always enjoy it that much. The one you see on screen now, this beautiful handsome man, this is my main. I did try Ranger in Guild Wars 2. It was actually the first class I tried. What happened to my Ranger when he was my first class that I played in Guild Wars 2? I have around 30 hours on it, maybe 40, but here he is. Massachusetts, my level 80 Ranger has a very important job right now. He has the main name I wanted to use on my main character. He's level 8 and everything, but now the role he has in my account, very important role. His role is forever to be with the most important job in Guild Wars 2. Opening the chest that Kainen jump puzzle. That's the fate of this guy. A class that could have been my main is now naked, forever banished in Kainen Outlook, opening this chest for all eternity. But you know what? Let's talk about why. Let's give him a fair shot. Let's give him a chance to defend himself. Why aren't I maining a ranger, and why is it so different from other MMOs? So let's talk about why I couldn't main the ranger. This solely has to do with the weapon choices. I don't want to be swinging axes. That's just about it. I know it's a very weird reason to not want to main a class, but hey, everyone has their own preferences, right? A ranger, the best weapon to use, because if you are playing a ranger and you have the expansions unlocked, I'm assuming you have expansions unlocked, because core ranger, let's not talk about that this video. Let's assume you have at least Path of Fire and Heart of Thorns. I'm not going to talk about any End of Dragon specs in this video. Let's talk about purely Path of Fire and Heart of Thorns. So for my Soul Beast, your main damage and your main weapon will probably be axes. It's not gonna be longbow. Unfortunately, I really love longbows in games. I prefer longbow. I prefer the ranged kind of a gameplay. I really like the longbow being my main weapon, not my secondary weapon. And Ranger suffered this fate because he's not really a Ranger. He is more of a skirmisher, because you're gonna be swinging your axes a lot. Yep, throwing axes, doing really good damage, but it's still axes, and I don't like axes. That is why this guy is banished here. So you may ask, if I couldn't play Ranger, then what else could I have played? Well, this is why I started my search. And the next stop was the Deadeye. I decided to try the Deadeye. As you can see, he has a better outfit. At least he's not naked. Are his human rights being observed? That's the question. Our Deadeye also is a slave opening the chest in Kaineng for all eternity. He's also banished to this realm for all time. This is one of the most fun classes I've played in Guild Wars 2, only in open world and PvP. It doesn't perform so well in how will I put it? Just the way the Deadeye mechanic works with the nailing and all that. This is purely because of the rifle. Because I chose the Deadeye because of the rifle. It's more of a weapon choice than a class choice. Let's be clear. Because if you choose a ranger and you don't mind the weapons that the ranger uses, then you are good. However, if you chose the ranger because you actually love longbows, that's not really the class for you, because you're not going to be using that longbow that much. I mean, in open world you can use whatever weapon you want, but is it really a main if you don't do every content with the same class? I don't know. I mean, it's all my preference. I want to tell you guys about how I went through the process of choosing my main, and then hopefully this will help some of you, right? So the Deadeye, the mechanic of kneeling and not being able to move in fractals and strike missions, that doesn't really work that well. And the way the rotation works for Deadeye with the death mark and Deadeye's mark and all of that, let me show you something. Look at that beautiful ping. Oh, this is so painful. I mean, okay, I'm not laggy. Funny enough, I'm not laggy. However, for classes like Deadeye, for classes like Soul Beast with the axes that has like a very strict rotation, I cannot perform well on those classes. So you can look at you can see my predicament, right? So Deadeye, yep, also has a very important job to be an economy dude. Okay, so what was my next class? What did I try next? So I tried a Reaper. I decided, you know what, let me try a Reaper, because first of all, if you look at he is a big ass scythe and some spin to win shenanigans, right? And in every forum you go to, every YouTube video, what do you hear as a new player? Necromancer is a beginner friendly class, very easy class to play. Is it fun though? Well, Reaper, yeah, a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Looks badass as well, I'm not gonna lie. Looks very badass. Plays very badass. Feels really badass. Hi guy. But it's not my playstyle, because again, weapon choice. You wanna be using greatsword on Reaper. That's your weapon choice. Either greatsword or probably axes. So hello buddy. Either axes, maybe for some life first generation, but that's about it. Again, we go back to the weapon choices. I have a thing for weapon choices. I don't know if it's a curse or it's a blessing. I don't know. Weapon choices make or break the character for me. So Reaper as well. Banish. You're missing clothes. Oops. Forgot them at home. Yeah, I love Guild Wars because of the community. Okay, let's after that, what did I try after that? I gave a shot to Mesmer. Now, why did I play Mesmer? I mean, eventually I bought End of Dragons expansion, and I was very tempted to play the Virtuoso, because the Virtuoso is a lot of fun. This class is amazing. I'm not gonna lie. This class is the one that would make me actually play with daggers, because it's fast, it's cool, it has a lot of utility, basically gives you like everything you need on one class. So that's really good. It was a very good contender when it comes to being a main, but yet she's still not my main. So who became my main? Who became a main and why? So let's go to the engineer. I used to watch engineer videos, and the thing I would pick up from engineer videos was the kits. Okay, let me swap to something not a mech. Let me swap to like maybe scrapper. So most videos I saw, I would see a lot of engineering kits being used. Bomb kit, you know, I would see people spamming grenades. I would see people spamming bomb kits. And I was like, I don't think I want to do this. So that's why I never actually tried engineer. But there's one thing I overlooked, is this is just a part of the engineer, a very small part of the engineer. Yes, engineers have like a common mechanic of kits, but that's not all it does. And it's especially true when you start getting into the specialization, into Holosmith. Like Holosmith is a lot of fun. This class is insane when it comes to the fun factor. And let's look at the scrapper, right? Let's look at scrapper. Wait, do I have a... Okay, let's just quickly swap to scrapper. Like scrapper is one of those classes. For the first time in a game, I didn't mind using a hammer. That's the funny thing. I don't mind using, for example, my mechanist. I don't mind using a shield and a mace. Why? Because these are secondary weapons. I don't consider this my primary weapon. My primary weapon is my rifle. And this is what I've been looking for all game long since I started. I regret why I didn't start with this, because I would have been so far right now than where I am if I would have just started with engineer from the first place. And I think this merits a video on its own, because when we look at rifles, how many classes use rifles? Well, very few. Warriors use rifles, but the usage for rifles on warrior is probably maybe burst damage in PvP. It's not really a very good PvE option for you to use, and it's only on base warrior. Okay, it's on base warrior, but it's not a very good PvE kind of a weapon to use, right? Rifle also used on Deadeye, right? And we have established Deadeye is not that good when it comes to fractals and strikes. And then for engineer, I can use my rifle on my mechanist. I can use my rifle on my scrapper. I can use my rifle on my holosmith as a primary weapon. I mean, that is so cool. And it is not a boring weapon as well. It is a pew weapon. I mean, this weapon is so cool. It feels so good. I mean, this weapon has made me start saving up to get myself a legendary rifle, because I mean, you guys can already hear me simping for rifle. I am a rifle wannabe. I like rifles, and it's such an easy decision for me, right? Because I am now basically an engineer main, because I love the three specs for engineer. I love scrapper. I play a lot of scrapper. I play a lot of holosmith, and I play a lot of mech. I play a lot of mech because it's strong. It's really strong. It's very easy. You guys see this? With my ping, mech is like easy mode, right? I can do all the content in the game. I can do raids. I can do fractals. I can do strike missions, and I can hold my own. And I don't have to even use kits. I don't have to use any kits. I can just use the normal signets, right? And I can do really good damage, and I can actually do mechanics in my raid without having to care about my rotation that much. Because if I was to care about mechanics and rotation with my ping, yeah, You guys see where I'm going with it, right? So for those of you guys who have an issue with finding a main class, what I would give you, the advice I would give you is this. What weapon would you like to use? Start there. Like, what weapon would you like to use? Because Guild Wars 2, it's more of a weapon choice than a class choice. Let's go back to my first class I played. It was a Ranger, right? Let's say I started this game years ago, before the End of Dragons expansion released. So let's say I was a main Ranger, and I absolutely hated hammers, right? And then, on the next expansion, they released Untamed. Now, which is the best weapon for Untamed? I mean, I'm assuming it is a hammer, right? The hammer skills are really good on Untamed. But what if you absolutely hate using a hammer? What happens to your Untamed, which is apparently your main? Do you guys get what I mean? So you need to figure out what you like, what you can do to figure out what is fun for you, what weapon is good for you. And when you find that weapon, look at what classes use that weapon as main. Some weapons are not that viable for all classes. You'll have to compensate. But if you're like me and you're a rifle main, dude, engineer is the class for you. Like, you're not gonna be disappointed with the scrap. You're gonna be disappointed with the holosmith, and people are gonna complain about you playing mechanist. Who doesn't want that?